Let's be real. Generative AI is everywhere right now. But what does all that buzz actually mean for you, for your job, for your day-to-day? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through the noise. We're using a super practical guide from Bob Slavic at Virtualization Options LLC to break it all down. Our goal is simple: show you how this tech works and how you can use it to get ahead.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to cover the absolute basics. What is this stuff really? Then we'll get into the exciting part: how AI can actually impact your work. After that, I'll walk you through your first steps to get going. And we'll wrap up with something that's absolutely critical: how to use these amazing tools smartly and safely.
All right, first things first. Before you can master any tool, you've got to understand what it is, and maybe just as important, where it even came from. So let's build that solid foundation. So what is it? The simplest way to think about generative AI is as a creative partner. See, older AI was all about analyzing stuff that already existed. This new wave of AI creates things from scratch. It can whip up an email for you, sketch out a logo, even write a little piece of music, all based on a simple request.
And what's so fascinating is that this didn't just pop up out of nowhere. No way. This is the result of like 70 years of innovation. It started with really basic rule-based systems way back in the 50s. Then moved to machine learning, which powers things like your spam filter. And then the deep learning revolution, which led us straight into the creative explosion we're seeing right now. So how in the world does it actually work? Well, it's a pretty straightforward three-step process. First, it just learns. It reads and watches and absorbs massive, and I mean massive, amounts of data. Then it starts to see patterns, how words fit together, how shapes form an image. And finally, when you ask it for something, it uses those patterns to predict what comes next, building new content piece by piece. Now here's the key: it doesn't think, it predicts. Okay, so that's the how. Now for the really fun part. How does all this tech actually help you at work? We're talking about a serious productivity payoff. When you boil it all down, it helps in three huge ways. First, you can automate all that routine writing, the emails and simple reports. Second, you can create amazing visuals for marketing or presentations without needing to be a graphic designer. And third, it's like a brainstorming partner that never runs out of ideas. And listen, we are not talking about a small boost here. Studies are already showing that people who get good at using these tools can see a 20 to 40% jump in how productive they are on content tasks. That's like getting a whole day back every single week. And this isn't just some abstract number. Take a look at Sarah, a small business owner. She was spending over 15 hours a week just writing product descriptions. By using AI, she cut that down, saving 10 hours, and get this, her website traffic went up 35%. Now she gets to focus on the big picture stuff, on strategy. That's a total game changer. Okay, so you've seen the potential. You're probably thinking, all right, I'm in. How do I actually get started? Well, it's probably easier than you think, and it all boils down to one single skill. Here's the most important thing to get your head around. The AI is only as smart as the instructions you give it. It's that classic saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. Becoming great at using AI isn't about being a tech genius. It's about getting really good at asking for exactly what you want. It's all about the prompt. I mean, just look at the difference here. Write an email about our sale is so vague, you'll get something totally generic back. But the effective prompt, it's specific. It gives a tone, friendly, a length, 150 words, the dates, the discount. That is how you get something you can actually use without a ton of editing. And it's not just one tool, There's a whole toolbox out there for different jobs. If you need to write something, you've got text generators like ChatGPT. If you need a cool image for a presentation, you've got tools like Midjourney. You can even create videos and voiceovers now. The trick is just matching the right tool to the task at hand. Okay, let's pause for a second, because this next part is maybe the most important thing we're going to talk about today. With all this power comes a huge responsibility to use it safely, especially with your company's information. This is the number one question on everybody's mind. Is it safe to just copy and paste company info into these public AI tools? And the short answer is, you have to be extremely careful. You're looking at three major landmines here. First, you could accidentally leak your company's secret sauce, its intellectual property. Second, you could expose sensitive customer data, which is a huge privacy violation. And third, the AI company itself might save your data and use it to train its models. You definitely don't want that. So, if you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this. Never, ever, ever put confidential information, customer data, or your company's private details into a public AI tool. Period. That's the one rule you just can't break. But the good news is, you're not powerless here. You can take steps to protect yourself. Step 1. Actually read the privacy policy to see how your data is used. Step 2. Dive into the settings and opt out of letting them use your data for training. And Step 3. Just get in the habit of clearing your history regularly.
All right, let's bring it all home. Here are 4 key things to remember. 1. AI is an amplifier for your skills. It's not here to replace you. 2. Security is everything. Don't trade convenience for risk. 3. Getting great results is all about trying, tweaking, and refining your prompts. And 4. You've got to stay curious. This field is moving at lightning speed. And that leaves us with one final big idea to think about. This technology is an incredible assistant. It can handle so much of the routine work for us. So the real question is, what are you going to do with all that time you get back? What are those uniquely human skills, like strategy, empathy, critical thinking, that you're going to double down on? That's what's going to matter most.